Oh, it's uncomfortable. I haven't done a live stream for a long time, and it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable. And it's also uncomfortable because I'm un-enmeshing from from some family. It's just I'm stressed. I'm so stressed in my body. If you don't know what enmeshment is, it is a wild ride. There's certain reality shows that it's obvious that there's an enmeshed family. I don't know how to best describe it. Like, everyone's just up in each other's business. But there's so much more to it. It's like being way too attached identity wise to the other family members in a way. My experience of it, like why I need to unenmesh myself, is because I'm like 29 freaking years old. I'm gonna be 30, and try not to judge myself for where I'm at in life. It's kind of hard not to. Don't have a career, don't have a job. Have had jobs before. I don't know, the last thing that I was doing was a different YouTube channel, was making some money at that channel with my partner. I don't know why I'm going on this whole tangent. This has nothing really do with the video. I guess it has something to do with it. I don't know. I'm stressed. This is going to be all over the place. It's going to be a shit show. This is going to be a potentially really horrible, shitty video. So just don't even watch it. It's fine. Click off. It's fine. But my time, my energy has been robbed by these attachments to these people, because when they're not there, the programming, the conditioning, it's like in my psyche, and it deters me from being successful, because it is possible to be successful at creative things, at YouTube or musical things, or stuff that's just not a conventional 9 to 5 type of job, or like, I don't know. It's just like, it's hard to be around toxic people, obviously, and then also continue to do favors for them and feel like there's always something, and the guilt trip of it all, when you don't do the thing, then having to deal with that. And like, I just, I'm a overly empathic person, and I'm getting to more of a healthier degree of empathy, because I'm at the point where I can finally, I guess, say no to the big thing, to the big event. And some of you might judge me for this, and I have to just not care, because I have to do what's best for me. But I said no to a funeral, although we already did sort of a funeral thing, kind of. It was like a burial. It wasn't a proper full-on funeral, but there was like a few different events. There was another one that I didn't attend that was in a different country. That was like, there's been some events for this person's passing, and this more maybe main funeral thing, I was going to help. I started helping with the slideshow of it and that, because I'm the one in the family that does, I guess, the computer stuff, whatever. Like, my body just can't. My body just can't, because like, I would have had to go to this city to, like, I didn't have all the photos, and I would have had to kind of go back and forth. Like, there was just, I did a different slideshow for a different family member like last month, and that consumed me, and I get really consumed by it. I'm just like an overly sensitive, emotional person, and I don't just slap together some photos. I want to know the life story. I want to know the story behind photos. When it's so many generations down, I don't know this information. I have to like take the time to gather all the information and all the photos, and like place the photos of the slideshow for the funeral service. And I don't know if any of this is making any sense, or if you're able to follow along. And but I don't know, this is therapeutic for me, because if you've been watching my live streams, you know I had a not great experience with my last counselor. I haven't really had I've had some good experiences with counselors, but like I've had various not great experiences with counselors. So I don't have anyone to talk to really. I do have a partner, I have a boyfriend, but I don't want to dump on him constantly all the time. And sometimes the way that I process stuff, like men can just be more fixers, solutions based. They're not as much wanting to just hold space for like the processing, like the being in it, just like the grieving process, the like feeling the emotions part's kind of like, oh, how can I fix this thing? And it's just more uncomfortable for me. I don't know, I have a journal, I have my music, I could write stuff, but this is another way, I guess, that I'm able to deal with these things. But anyways, so I said no to everything. I said no to this like celebration of life event because first of all, it's I just don't have fond memories really of this person. Like when I think about it, I just think of how this whole family was enmeshed in a way. So and I dealt with a very narcissistic person that was like enabled by other people in the family. And then just when I think of it as a whole, when I think of this person and this, like, it just, there's just not fondness. And it's just like, there was this consistent pattern of feeling like I was there for entertainment purposes. I was there to also, like, what these people seem to get out of my being related to them was how I made them feel about their own selves, and didn't feel like they really actually cared about me. And I went through a lot of mental health issues. I would definitely call it narcissistic abuse. I have only started to feel better and like completely untangle what it might, like, what you just get programmed in a way when someone is narcissistic and raising you. And if you are more of the sensitive, empathic child as well, it's just not fun. It's not fun because then when you start exhibiting what I now call very normal reactions, like I watched a video, this guy, I can't remember his name right now, but he talked about like how he doesn't like to call certain mental health issues like disorders, because it's not even a disorder. It's like a normal reaction to the abuse that you endured. So, but I was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. I had social anxiety disorder. I'm not really like, I'm not sensitive or offended by the word disorder. It did help me to be like, okay, something's not right. And also people aren't really believing that I'm really distressed. It's kind of like, oh, this is just a phase, whatever, it's fine. Like I got turned away by a doctor trying to, like, I just, rolling panic attacks, not okay, like wanting to die, just like not okay. But at the same time, when then it's like you're gaslit, like the ultimate gaslighting too is like your body just can't help but like express the pain of like being daily gaslit, daily screamed at, verbally abused, emotionally abused, guilt tripped constantly. Then you get anxious, but then you get in trouble for being anxious. You get yelled at, you get screamed at. Sorry, I'm getting very passionate right now. You get screamed at for, you're like, okay, you're at school and you're like, I can't wait to just go home and be alone in my room so I can just cry and let it out because I got to just keep it together in front of the people here at school. But it's like, this is my one little happiness in my day that I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to crying and feeling like I want to die when I get home and like just going to my room, shutting my door, being unenmeshed. But no, you can't do that because you start, crying and you try to be quiet enough, I guess, but someone barges in and starts yelling at you and criticizing you about your anxiety, being like, it's all in your head, cut it out. Like, yeah, it's in my head, but who do you think did that? There's the person that caused also so much of that constant anxiety or fear of people or fear of being like criticized and just all that stuff. The social, like, you caused that, but I'm in trouble I'm in trouble for being even anxious. Sorry, this is a whole thing. And I saw there was like 3 people watching, now there's 0, so now my brain is like, you scared the people away. Obviously, like, no one wants to hear this. It's just sad, whatever. It's not. I'm the person that I am because of all the experiences I've gone through, but and the person that passed is not even the person that I'm talking about the being screamed at. It's someone that enabled that, maybe didn't fully witness it, obviously didn't witness that moment, but like when I tried to complain to like the other people in the family, so that was someone that I tried to seek help in any way, and it was just like, that person does so much for you, and that, like, I was not allowed to even be upset about what was happening to me or complain. And then I just got in trouble for not going to family things, like going for dinners. Like, I got, it's like, you don't love us anymore because you don't come here and that. And then there's just like, this family too seems to have a bit of more of a hierarchical structure, and like the whole like respect your elders, or like, I'm your elder so you cannot, I don't know, be yourself or an individual in a normal healthy way. Like, I didn't realize that these were just normal things that you should be able to do, especially like if someone's like joking around with you, criticizing, yeah, criticize, or just like, you just didn't know. It's just like they would just snap all of a sudden if it's like you're just joking. All of a sudden you'd apparently offend them, and it's like, okay, why are you just, you just feel like a puppet. Like, I'm just there to be toyed around with and that, and then when I have my own backbone or individuality, it's like not okay. And it's like, you don't do that, and then everyone else just in the family enables the thing. Like, you try to go to be like, you know, I was being treated this way, and it's like, well, you shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have been, and that's your elder, and but then they complain to you about other people being mistreating them, and then they want your sympathy in that circumstance. Like, it's fine that they were hurt by that person, but so that's a whole jumble. I don't know what's happening. This might be way out of tune. I just tuned it. I'm un-enmeshing from the toxic family. I'm un-enmeshing. I can't take it anymore. I'm so done. Not gonna feel that today. No more empathy for these people that fucked with me. We're done. We're done. We're so done. I do have to say, I'm so thankful for the internet and YouTube. Like, there's pros and cons to the internet and social media and stuff like that, but I would just totally be, I don't know where I'd be. I have like gotten out of the enmeshment family prison. Like, there's different stages to it, I feel, where you start making some boundaries, but then you're still kind of in it and stuff, and then you kind of like get more comfortable to put your foot down a little bit more and make more boundaries and care a little bit more about yourself. Like, it, for me, it just started with like constantly being mentally consumed, like just overly worried about how these people are, like if they're okay. I know they don't really care if I'm okay, but well, I feel like they care, like if I'm not okay enough to cater them and to help them feel a certain way about themselves, like again, be there for their entertainment or whatever, be the puppet, I feel like that's what they worry about. It's more of a narcissistic thing. It's like, oh, I'm sad that you're not going to be my narcissistic supply anymore. But what is going on with this lip chap? That's not going to work. That's not going to work. I don't know. I'm fidgety. I don't need lip chap. I just put on a ton of Vaseline, but I'm nervous energy, and I just do random things and fidget when I have that. So, anyways, I feel like I've said too much because it's just uncomfortable to have my own narrative. Like, there's always different perspectives to everything. This is just mine, and but it's hard to, if people can be a bit manipulative or just like the enmeshed families, like narcissistic types of families, it's hard to have your own sense of reality, and that's where I really struggle to validate myself. I guess this is a form of me validating myself, but there's just, it's gonna be uncomfortable after. It's gonna be like, that was bad of you. You shouldn't have spoken poorly of your family, like so bad or whatever. But I haven't detached. I'm almost 30 years old and I haven't like had my own sense of self fully yet because of this enmeshment. So I was talking about how it like happens in stages. Like, I first would be consumed by these people just in my mind of like always thinking of how they're doing, like their emotional state, if they're okay, and if like, it's weird, I don't live in the same city, and it's just like this full-on enmeshment, like this attachment to this person, this emotional state, like feeling like I have to be responsible for their well-being and everything. And so there's not much space for your own self in that, or even like your own personality or thoughts, or because I would just be so overly concerned about my image to these people, who I am. So it started with like every time they would pop into my head, I'd have to redirect my mind and be like, it's okay. And also like, you're not a bad person for not keeping in this like constant type of communication. Like, I was really, really pressured to call every single day, to talk to certain people every day, and guilted about it. And then finally I got more accepted about not doing that. But then it's just like the comparisons, like I don't really care, but it'll be like, oh, like this person calls them and every day and you don't, and being compared. And then even like an event, basically being told, basically someone telling everyone at, like, I don't even want to say this, it's so uncomfortable, but this person is not gonna watch this, and I hope to God, and I hope someone else in the family does not watch this and it gets back to these people. But at an event, like, your grandma saying out loud basically that like your grandpa loved your sister more than you, out loud, like that was just normal too. I like, it was like I wasn't shocked like when it was like, oh, and you know, he like, she was doing a little speech thing at like a sort of wedding thing. It was like a pre-wedding dinner thing, and she basically said that he liked my sister more than me, like his other grandchild, because I don't think she said this at the time, but there was the whole thing about the calling every single day, like, oh, she calls all the time, and she and like that was their, it was like, you, unless you do this action, like you don't love us as much, or like telling me to how I feel. And I would show the love in my own ways, where I would really help with so many favors. I would take care of people, take care of sick people. I would really, when I would go to visit, I would really be more attentive. Like I'd really share, spend a lot of time and stuff. And I would just prefer having something to actually talk about. Like, I'd prefer to not call every single day to just go through this like fake motion, and like all they would do is talk about the weather and like, okay, bye. But it was like they were like keeping track. It's like they were keeping score, and it was all for them. It was always just all for them, how they felt. Like, it was like, you do this. It's like they would feel like they didn't have their own sense of self, obviously. So it was like they got something out of it, like self-esteem wise, or like, oh, this person is not. So anyways, today when I said, sorry, I'm not gonna do the, and again, I already mentioned this, but like I helped with this other funeral, like burial service. Like, this is high-end religious stuff. So there was like a whole open casket, everything. Like I was there when this person actually passed. I actually saw them deceased. It is very unsettling to see a person, to see a deceased person, but the soul is not there. And I happened to be there. I don't live there, but I happened to be there at the time that this whole thing happened, and I helped plan, organize this whole like service at the time and everything, but it wasn't as much like a proper maybe celebration of life with like a whole slideshow and everything, but I was there for all that. Like not everyone was even able to be present for that thing. And for this recent thing, I didn't even know. I found out today. I guess my sister isn't. She's not. She already isn't attending, and I didn't know that either. But I was like, oh well, she's not going. And like, why do I have to go? But I was told like today, you have to go if you love this person. You have to go. And I was just like, no, I don't. And I just, sorry, I lost it. I lost it on my grandma. I was crying and I was upset, and then she's like, I don't know what's happening with you. You're all upside down. And she speaks like broken English. So her saying like, you're all upside down is her way of kind of saying like, you're acting crazy or you're being crazy. Like she has no idea. And I've said way too much. This is so uncomfortable, but sorry. I couldn't, the whole other component is that like, so this whole family, there's been toxicity, and I feel, and I went in, it's just the truth. My grandma did not treat the person that passed away, my grandpa, she did not treat him very well, nice at all. It was, they were always fighting. All I remember is like scream fight. It's just, it's so uncomfortable, chaotic, like when I would visit this side of the family, and I felt so bad for him. He was very, very sensitive and stuff. And I just felt like people would just get the toxicity, just like take it out on another person. So it was just like, and this was just like, it's not healthy. It's not healthy. And it's just this like bad, there's no real trust and safety. And it's like really uncomfortable. And when she was telling me you have to, and she was trying to guilt me about like, well, if you love it, you do. And I was like, my sister's not even going. Like, why does she get not to go in? Like, so I'm also tired of being treated differently. Like my role in this family is different. Like I'm treated differently. Like the empathy definitely, I feel like gets taken advantage of. Like, and I have to shut it off. I have to shut it off with these people. I have to just like close the valve of that stream of overly empathic. It's toxic empathy. There's like a toxic side to empathy where you can be too empathic and it's not healthy or good. And then you are just a people pleaser anyways. And I have to just trust you. Like I'm not helping these people by trying to not be my authentic me. Like I'm not even helping them learn it all. But she threw the whole like, I don't know why you're all upside down, and then she tried to blame a different person in the family completely for why this is happening and that, and like that person does have something to do with it. That other person is like, that's the person that screamed at me as a kid. I don't want to name, it's too uncomfortable. I'm not ready to say it. I'm sure you can imagine who the person is in my life, but that person as well, I did start off with like, I cannot be around that person, so I cannot attend, because I also just like, I can't, if I were to do the slideshow as well, I had to go get all the photos, so I'd have to like be around that person 2 whole more trips of visiting. And I did visit last month for like a week or something, and it was like, it takes a lot out of me, so I was like, I also cannot be around that person. So then she's like, yeah, it's all that person's fault. And I was like, no, you have problems too. And I said to my girl, I said, you have problems too. And so no, I have an issue with her. And then she tried to guilt me, right? And was like, you have to, and I told her that she was not nice to my grandpa. I said, well, you were not nice to him as well. A lot of the time you were not nice. And she was just like, obviously denying it and whatever, but this is my truth. You might think that I'm a really horrible person for saying these things to my family. My grandma, she's elderly, but like, you do not know these people. When I oh god, yeah, it was a lot. Like when I planned the funeral burial service with her, like the 5 days that I um ended up just staying and planning the whole thing with her because my mom was not well and not able to help it all. So I took it all on with her, and she is just a character. I don't know. I can only imagine what her mother was like to her. I've heard some things. Just she can be, I don't know, she softened a bit after her husband passed, but prior to that, I would visit and there was just like not much warmth at all anymore. And it was just like, you left that out and why did you put that there and you didn't do this and do that, and just cold. And when I figure skated as a child, so I would do these skating competitions and she would show up to my skating competitions, and she was way more softer then. Like when I was young and little, like I do have some fond memories and stuff, but then she did get a lot worse after. She did have cancer and she recovered, and she got a lot, her personality went really like even more just really cold and stuff. But like when I was skating, everyone, a lot of people thought she was my coach. Like they thought she was just like this Russian, like little, like tough Russian coach or something. I guess she'd be, you know, walking around with me, the rink and stuff. And it was just funny that people thought she was like this like strict skating coach from Russia that not even maybe talking to her, just like seeing, just like, yeah, she's European and stuff, but not Russian. But I'm gonna end it soon here, but I'm gonna feel like I need to delete this and stuff, and it's intense, it's a lot. And obviously there's way more to people. It's like, this is self-preservation. Like my brain can't help but like only focus now on the negative because I used to only focus on the positive, and that's what kept me stuck and fully enmeshed. But I have to be like, what am I getting out of this? At this point, it's stress and pain, but it's not like these people are horrible people. And I think it's all trauma. Obviously it's all generational trauma. But it's just not my job, and I'm not responsible to like, even if someone is older, like I don't have to just do things out of guilt and make, excuse me, everyone happy at my own expense. And obviously there are a lot of fond memories, especially when I was really little. I just can't think of them right now because as a whole, when I think of it all as a whole, I've never truly really like asserted myself. I've just always done the thing. And this time I was just going to do the thing. And who knows, I might go back on my word and change my mind out of the guilt. It might be too much. I might not be able to handle it. I did just already, though, be like, I said the big no. And she thought I just wasn't going to do the slideshow. And then I had to really be clear, like, well, no, I'm not going to come at all. And then I just was not I was not going to be talked into doing it. So I did put up that boundary. But what was I going to say? Sorry, it's a lot. I was talking about can only think of the like negative things and that I haven't really, oh yeah, so there'd always be these things, like I would go, like another example is like there was a plan that I would go take care of my grandpa for a few days, like maybe 4 days or something, and then it turned into 3.5 weeks, and I just had to stay. Like, luckily, I mentioned I don't have a real actual job, but there are things that I could be doing and pursuing. But then it's like, oh, there's 3.5 weeks. I had, I took care of my mom, and she had some health stuff go on a different time, and then I tried to put my foot down, and then I got guilted by my sister about that one, and like I don't get like an excuse. My sister's a doctor, and I don't get to be like, oh, I'm a doctor, and so I'm doing my doctor thing, so like I just feel like I have to do it. And I couldn't just, I was there. So for the 3.5 weeks that I looked after my grandpa, I was already just there. My mom went out of town with my grandma for her health stuff, and so I was looking after my grandpa, and that was like a month before he ended up passing and stuff. And it did, it took a toll. It was nice, I guess, to be able to like have time before he passed, but I'm sorry to say it was so mentally, it was really, it was just a lot. Like it was like, I get that he wasn't doing well, but it was really like and it was sad, like he was scared of dying and stuff, and at the time I also just didn't really think that I thought he was just scared of dying, that he wasn't actually gonna die anytime soon. But like I had a hard time having any type of self-care at all at the time, because I would be like in the kitchen, he could fully see me and everything, and he was sitting in his chair right in the living room that's like right beside the kitchen, and like that wasn't close enough for him. Like he wanted to be right beside me or like touching me or like, and I would just, he obviously was not doing well, so he was maybe extra cranky and cold at times or this or that. Or I was also just trying to like keep him happy or regulate him, and he would have a lot of anxiety at night, and I would try to do like exercise to help him calm down, but then he would get really frustrated, maybe angry at times and that, but then I just tried to like keep him feeling okay, and then I would even just like try to make him laugh or joke, and like sometimes it was funny or sometimes it really pissed him off. He was like, don't do that, like why are you, that's stupid, why are you doing that? And he would get really flustered at like I was just doing a silly thing. Like it just like wasn't the happiest time, but I like did that thing. So sorry, this is my like really long way of saying that there's would always just something would come up, and I have other family. I have other family of the other side of my family, of my dad's side of the family, and there was his father ended up passing away like recently, like last month. I did a whole slideshow for that thing, and I there's just like I have other family here that there's like I've helped out and done sort of things in that. And so I thought too this time, I'm like, okay, this is like the last thing, like, and I'll start to finally get into like a groove or routine and start to like my other grandpa's like slideshow that I did do and complete, it consumed me. I get so into it. I learn about their life, and then he had a really hard life. He was like an orphan, and it was just tragic, and I just couldn't sleep properly. I also, other things had come up and I had to go be somewhere else, and it kind of got offloaded to someone else, but then it just wasn't going to work for that person to end up doing it. So I ended up like starting this thing days before like the event, and like not sleeping for days on end. So that just took a lot out of me. So yeah, I had that thing, and then it's like, okay, I just got one more slideshow to do. I also did, this would have been my third slideshow, so I haven't even done that many. I've done two now. Done two of the funeral slideshows, but the timing of it, the fact that it was like, okay, as soon as this is done, like I need to start working on the next one, because I do not ever want to go through this stress ever again in my life. Like that was way too stressful. Like the day, like my body would just like shut down, and I couldn't even work on it or focus, because I was like, oh my god, I have 3 days, I have 3 days, I have 3 days, and like I've hardly anywhere with the slideshow. Like, so yeah, I was like, this is the last thing though. I was like, okay, this, no more. Like once this is done, then I can sort of be more free and more focus on me and be able to work on my own editing, and not having to work on a slideshow or go and get photos or ask about the photos. Like just I thought, okay, I'll live my life after June 3rd, I think it is. Like I'll live my life. But as time has gone on, like I did scan a bunch of photos, and I just, the thought of going, being around these different characters and stuff, my body started rejecting it more and more and more, and just like the dread of it all, and just I just was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. And it's like, I don't have to do it. So it's tough though. Enmeshment, it's like a breakup, and it's really hard at first. And I did a video on this channel about digital communication. My phone's off. This, I guess I'm filming with my phone because I have to, because it's got the good camera, but I have a different phone, like my boyfriend's old iPhone, I use to listen to podcasts or to be able to go on YouTube without having my phone data on there because of the anxiety I get. Specifically, it can be other texts and stuff too, but specifically like this family that I've vented about, like I don't want to just even see a text. It's like hard to see something and then try to ignore or not get like sucked into the drama of it all or the crisis of it all or the stuff. So this phone too, when I have it, when it's on like a completely silent mode most of the time. I don't get any notifications. I can't see it. It's really annoying though, because if I want to go like text a different person, when I do finally go into my messages app, I will see blurbs of other people. So I potentially might see like those really anxiety provoking types of texts. So like it's just, I gotta get my autonomy back for my own self. Like I'm obviously doing it to myself. There's no one to blame at this point but me. There's no one to blame but me. And I accept these people as they are. I'm loving them right now from afar. And I thank them too. I'm actually really grateful. Like, I know this thing has sounded so negative, but this whole time, but it's like pushes me so hard to grow and become who I am. Like, I'm actually thankful for the experience, believe it or not, as painful as it has been. I'm thankful for like not having been validated as a child, like for being dismissed, for being even gaslit, and because it's also what made me realize the messed up stuff that goes on in society as a whole, and like the gaslighting with why I started talking about all the more political stuff is because I knew like my radar was up. It's like, no, you don't get to tell me, first of all, what to do with my body. We're talking about the COVID jab here. I get to make that decision for myself. Like, I'm not gonna be guilt tripped into that. No, like it's taught me so much about people, how to deal with people and that. So like, because people that come from the most supportive, loving families and that too, they can be so fucked up. They can be so fucked up because maybe after that experience, no one's ever good enough, or like they can't see the reality of the world that like not everyone's gonna validate you. Not everyone is like, you have to do it for yourself. Like, I'm becoming just my own individual, independent person. I feel sad about how I cannot like be this person that in these people's eyes, I'm gonna be like the bad person. I'm gonna be like the maybe ungrateful grandchild, or like I'm gonna be the just not nice daughter, or whatever it's gonna be, like whatever the narrative is gonna be. And it just sucks that I have to be the bad guy in someone else's story, but I have to be the bad guy in someone else's story, and it is gonna just help me grow to be the bad guy in other people's stories, unfortunately, because you can't be liked by everyone. And it's kind of narcissistic to desire, to demand, to want to be liked by everyone. Like, I'm gonna piss people off on here. People are gonna be pissed off just like of who I am authentically, but I have to be my authentic self. It's just, it's so icky at this point to continue to people please and not be, and that's like manipulative. I call it positive manipulation. When I give my hairdresser a really good tip just because I want her to like me more, that's still fully manipulative. That's not even genuine. Like, I didn't want to actually do that. I just felt bad about it, like not doing that. She like misplaced this money and was talking about that during my appointment, and then I felt like I had to like make it better for her and help. But it's just not real. It's just not real, and I just gotta be real. So holy crap, this is long. I'm gonna try and erase that this happened from my memory or not. I need to be okay with it. This is a lot of exposure for me. And I don't wish anything. I still love these people as they are, but I accept them as they are. It's like, you do you, I gotta do me, and I'm allowed to be affected in my own way. I'm allowed to have my own sob story about the whole thing. I'm allowed to be overly sensitive. Like, yeah, okay, oh, you're too sensitive this, like, you're all upside down. I don't know what you're doing. Yeah, I am. I'm all upside. Oh, I'm so effective. I'm sensitive. That's who I am. And I need to accept that, be okay. It's like, you see me as that, and that's okay. And that can also maybe just release me more from the whole thing. It's like, if I'm not giving you what you want anymore, maybe you will demand less of me, and I can be free from the chains. So today we're unenmeshing, and that was the live stream, sending all the good vibes out there. And if you yourself are dealing with this similar type of a situation, or just feeling too attached to your family and like guilt about all that, I highly recommend just typing that into YouTube, like enmeshed family or how to unenmesh from my family. Reddit is really good. There's audiobooks about this stuff. It's saved my life at this point. Like, I feel like I can finally have a life, and I'm looking forward to I edited a video last night. I'm like getting over the hump of just putting myself out there, like, because I'll film a video and then it's like, who cares, why should I even post this, who cares, it doesn't even matter. Like, I'm getting over that just bullshit and being like, I'm just gonna do it because I want to, and gonna edit it. So I really want to get that other vlog video out, and I'm always working on music. I'm always saying how I'm gonna do music and like nothing gets posted, but I am genuinely working on music. So eventually, yeah, that's gonna come out eventually. But for now, just sending the comfort vibes. If you're feeling alone, I feel alone too. You can't really trust anyone. You gotta trust yourself. So I'm gonna work on that and try to be nice to myself this week. So okay, we're gonna finally end this. Love you guys. Okay, bye.